By the late 19th century, the Ottoman Empire was in deep decline, weakened by debt, uprisings, and devastating territorial losses in the Balkans. Once the seat of a mighty empire stretching across continents, it was now a shadow of its former self. The Russo-Turkish War of 1877–78 reshaped the region, securing independence for several Balkan states: Serbia, Romania, and Montenegro, and autonomy for Bulgaria. But this victory for the Christian nations created new friction among the great powers. The Treaty of Berlin rolled back Russian influence, returning much of Macedonia to Ottoman rule. Yet it left no one satisfied. Not Russia, not Austria-Hungary, and certainly not the Balkan peoples themselves. The early 20th century brought even more upheaval. The Young Turk Revolution of 1908 tried to breathe new life into the dying empire, promising modernization, equality, and unity. But instead, it unleashed chaos. Austria-Hungary's annexation of Bosnia, Bulgaria's declaration of independence, and renewed unrest in Albania and Crete deepened the crisis. The Balkan states themselves suffered coups and political chaos, their militaries restless and hungry for expansion. By 1910, both the Ottoman Empire and its neighbors were unstable. The Balkans had become a region charged with tension, a place where old empires and new nations collided. As the Ottoman Empire struggled to survive, another threat appeared from the Mediterranean. Italy saw opportunity. Traditionally, Britain, France, and even Germany had supported the Ottomans to prevent a total collapse. But now, they stood aside as Italy attacked Ottoman Libya and the Dodecanese Islands in 1911. For the Balkan kingdoms watching from the north, this was a signal. The Ottomans were weak, and the moment had come. Serbia and Bulgaria began secret alliance talks in late 1911, just after the Italo-Turkish War began. By March of 1912, they had agreed on a pact dividing Macedonia between them. Northern Macedonia would go to Serbia, southern Macedonia to Bulgaria, with a disputed zone left for Russia to arbitrate. Soon after, Montenegro and Greece joined with separate agreements, and the Balkan League was born. But distrust ran deep. Bulgaria, confident in its powerful army, refused to commit to a final division of territorial gains, believing it could seize the best lands on its own. Among the League, Bulgaria fielded the strongest, best-equipped army. Serbia was next, hardened by previous wars and eager for revenge. Greece was the weakest on land, but its navy was unmatched, and that would prove crucial. Its ships could block Ottoman reinforcements from crossing the Aegean, trapping enemy armies in Europe. On October 8, 1912, before the others were ready, Montenegro attacked, desperate to claim glory first. This act set the Balkans ablaze. Within days, Serbia, Bulgaria, and Greece declared war on the Ottoman Empire. The First Balkan War had begun. Ottoman Grand Vizier, Ahmet Mutir Pasha tried to preserve peace, even demobilizing parts of the Third Army. But the Young Turk government wanted to fight, believing they could still crush their smaller enemies. Many foreign observers agreed, assuming the Ottomans' population of 24 million and theoretical army of 600,000 soldiers guaranteed victory. But the numbers lied. Only 6 million Ottomans lived in Europe, many of them Orthodox Christians unwilling to fight for Islam. The empire's poor transport system meant troops from Asia could only move by sea, where they'd be hunted by the Greek navy. The army was stretched thin, with elite officers like Mustafa, Kemal, and Enver Bey still trapped in Libya, fighting Italy. Reserve troops were undertrained, underfed, and under-equipped. Even the once proud Ottoman navy was obsolete. In reality, the empire could only field about 315,000 soldiers in Europe. The Balkan League, by contrast, could deploy 825,000 men, united by hatred of the Ottomans and dreams of liberation. In early October, 3 Bulgarian armies faced the Ottoman First Army in eastern Thrace. The Ottomans expected the main attack in Macedonia and concentrated their forces there. A fatal mistake. At Hercules, the Bulgarians struck with ferocity. Outnumbered and outgunned, the Ottomans fought bravely for 3 days before collapsing. The road to the capital lay open. Instead of pressing forward, the Bulgarians paused to reorganize, giving the Ottomans precious time to recover. But when battle resumed at Lüleburg, the fighting turned into a slaughter. Artillery thundered day and night as waves of men clashed across trenches and fields. Each side lost nearly 20,000 soldiers, the bloodiest European battle since 1871. The Ottomans fell back to the Katalka line, just 30 kilometers from Constantinople. Panic spread through the city. Meanwhile, in Macedonia, Serbian forces clashed with Ottoman troops at Kumano. Despite being attacked first, the Serbs outgunned their opponents with heavy artillery, breaking Ottoman resistance. Their victory opened the path to southern Macedonia, and the Ottomans retreated in chaos. Serbian troops pursued them into Albania, linking with Montenegrins at Scutari and capturing key towns across Kosovo. Further south, Greek troops moved swiftly to secure Thessaloniki Salonika, a city both Bulgaria and Greece desperately wanted. On November 8th, Greek forces captured it first, cutting the Ottomans off from reinforcements. This victory also gave Greece control of the Aegean, where its navy now dominated Ottoman sea routes. As the Balkan League advanced, the civilian population suffered terribly. Christian and Muslim villages alike were destroyed, and atrocities were committed by all sides. Hundreds of thousands of refugees flooded into Constantinople, where Hagia Sophia was turned into a cholera hospital. Foreign warships anchored off the coast to prevent further bloodshed in mere weeks. Almost all of Ottoman Europe had been overrun. Only a few fortresses still held out. On November 28th, with Ottoman authority collapsing, Albanian leaders declared independence, backed by Austria and Italy. Days later, the Ottomans signed an armistice with Bulgaria, Serbia, and Montenegro. But Greece, still fighting in the west, refused to stop. The Balkan League had triumphed, but peace was fragile. Even before the shooting stopped, new rivalries were forming over how to divide the spoils. Meanwhile, in Constantinople, the Young Turks were overthrown yet again in a violent coup. On January 23, 1913, soldiers stormed government offices, killing War Minister Nazim Pasha and seizing power once more, determined to save Thrace. They ordered new offensives. Ottoman troops, including Mustafa Kemal, landed at Gallipoli and pushed north, briefly regaining ground at Basil. But Bulgarian resistance stiffened, and the attack failed with heavy losses, minus 6,000 Ottoman dead for just over 100 Bulgarians. By March, Greek troops had captured Ioannina, and the Serbs and Bulgarians took Erdogan after brutal street fighting. In the west, the Montenegrins finally captured Scutari, only to be forced by the great powers to hand it over to a new Albanian state. The Ottomans had no choice but to accept defeat. On May 30th, 1913, the Treaty of London was signed. The empire's European possessions were reduced to a narrow strip of land outside Constantinople. The First Balkan War was over, and with it, Ottoman rule in Europe. But peace did not bring stability. Even as the ink dried, the former allies turned on one another. The Second Balkan War was about to begin, and the Balkans would soon erupt again.